Welcome to our Secondary Reading Language Arts PLN video series. For this first video, we're going to talk about using the data tree to develop a connected CER. To anchor our learning, we wanted to be clear about the purpose of this professional development, which is to support teachers in helping students develop their writing skills in order to write their own connected CER. We also want to develop our own understanding of what connected CER is and what the data tree is so that we have a full understanding and we'll be able to put this in front of students. So let's jump into it. The definition of a connected CER is a connected CER has one claim and it has two pieces of evidence and two corresponding reasoning for that evidence. This evidence and reasoning can come from one text or it can come from multiple texts. It just depends on what the charge on the student is or what you, the teacher, need the students to be able to answer. The data tree is a planning strategy that helps students respond to text-dependent questions and helps them extract evidence so that they can make interpretations with that evidence, and that those interpretations build to writing their claim. And this data tree also allows for multiple answers in an effort to build into a full analytical essay. This learning on these PLN series is going to be for the teacher. So this is for your learning. We put the standard here for you so you could understand where this question is coming from. And then we developed the prompt based on a STAR released STEM. So the strategy that we're asking students to do in order to attack the text with purpose is to look at the prompt first. Before they start reading, we're asking them to go through their test questions and find those short constructed response questions or the extended constructed response questions and read those first so that I have a charge for reading or when I'm annotating. The prompt that the students have to answer for this connected CER is: how does the use of problem and solution organizational structure help the reader understand the information in the article? Write a connected CER using two pieces of evidence to support your claim. We also put the academic vocabulary that we would want the students to write on their data tree, and that will make more sense when I go through the data tree strategy, which is next. And then also we would explain to the students that they need to read with purpose and annotate or highlight in their testing platform to respond to the prompt. Here, the students are, what you're seeing here is a fully done lesson. So you're going to see highlights and annotations that the student would have already done. This is the work this is how it would look if it was complete. So on our data tree, we've written the prompt, and again, that prompt is: how does the use of problem and solution organizational structure help the reader understand the information in the article? Write a connected CER using two pieces of evidence to support your claim. We're also asking, before the student starts collecting evidence or writing their evidence on their data tree, we're going to ask them to do a brain dump and try to remember what's the charge of me, the reader. So based on my prompt, I know that I have to collect evidence about problem and solution, and I might need to define that for myself. What is problem and solution? Problem and solution is the author presents a problem and then a solution to solve that problem. Also, I know from my reading that this is an informational text, and in my studies of the different genres, I know that I need to, as the reader, pay attention to the audience, the organizational structure, any evidence that the author is presenting to me, the reader, and the thesis. This is just the genre characteristics of an informational text. So for step one of the data tree, I am simply going back to my annotations that I made. Remember, I highlighted based on the prompt question, and I just pulled pieces of information that I thought would be able to answer that question. And then I'm taking those quotations, I'm taking that text evidence, and I'm just throwing it into these evidence boxes on my data tree. There's no rhyme or reason to it. I'm not categorizing yet. I'm just putting evidence that I think is going to answer that question. That's step one. Step 2, I am now going to start reading those pieces of text evidence, and I'm going to start categorizing or seeing what connections these pieces of text evidence have. If we go back to the prompt, we know that we have to find text evidence for problem and solution. And that's kind of the evidence that I collected. I collected evidence that presented the problem, and then I collected evidence that also brought up a solution. And I just moved those boxes together. I grouped them together, or I categorized them based on the connections that I made. This will help me then develop my interpretations. That's step 3. So I've collected the evidence, I've categorized or made connections to the evidence. Now I'm making interpretations based on the evidence I collected. So I will read you those interpretations. The speaker presents a problem with a feeling of not belonging because they are from more than one culture. This is the problem that I'm kind of seeing throughout, and this is the evidence that supports that interpretation. I also have this interpretation. As a solution to their problem, the speaker finds comfort in being multicultural because anywhere they are, they feel it is home. And all of this text evidence that I've grouped down here helps connect all of those pieces and helps me build that interpretation. So I have my evidence, I have these interpretations. These interpretations are going to help me build and develop my claim. So that's step 4. I am now taking all of that information that I've just compiled, and I'm writing a claim. And I'm writing that claim in this purple box at the bottom. My claim reads, through the use of problem and solution organizational structure, the reader gains a better understanding of the challenges a person from a multicultural background faces and how they overcome them. So giving me the problem, and then giving me the solution to this problem. And I wrote that in my claim. Now, how do we develop this into a full-blown paragraph? We use this frame. So for middle school, we would have them take the claim that they put on their data tree and put it in this sentence frame. Because remember, Connected CER they share one claim. This claim, I'll read it one more time. Through the use of problem and solution organizational structure, the reader gains a better understanding of the challenges a person from a multicultural background faces and how they overcome them. Then we instruct the students to go back to their data tree to find the text evidence that they think best represents that claim. And we have them put it in the frame that you see here. So evidence 1, remember, is from our problem. Third culture kids like me make it up as we go along. And then I come up with reasoning that supports that evidence. People with different cultural backgrounds may sometimes experience the obstacles of their own identity and belonging. Then remember, I have to come up with evidence for solution. So then I go back to my data tree and I find the best piece of text evidence that does that. And I put that in my frame. Living like this can sometimes feel liberating. I feel as though I'm wearing different masks and I'm constantly able to reinvent myself. And the reasoning that goes along with that is although someone may struggle with feeling connected to more than one culture, they can find a sense of peace knowing that they can acclimate to multiple cultures and situations. So as you can see here, this frame makes me put my connected claim, my 2 pieces of evidence, and my 2 reasoning in a frame that I can then develop into a paragraph. For middle school students, we really want to be clear about connecting these pieces of evidence and reasoning using transitions, and those I've highlighted here in yellow so that it reads as a paragraph, and I'll read it. Through the use of problem and solution organizational structure, the reader gains a better understanding of the challenges a person from a multicultural background faces and how they overcome them. The author states, third culture kids like me make it up as we go along. People with different cultural backgrounds may sometimes experience the obstacles of their own identity and belonging. Alternatively, living like this can sometimes feel liberating. I feel as though I'm wearing different masks, and I'm constantly able to reinvent myself. Although someone may struggle with feeling connected to more than one culture, they can find a sense of peace knowing that they can acclimate to multiple cultures and situations. So we now have our fully developed Connected CER, and although students won't be asked to write a Connected CER on the STAR test, this is our best thinking to building to a full-blown analytical essay, or the ECR. So we would take these Connected CERs and develop them into body paragraphs of an analytical essay so that they can develop a full essay. This is just a piece in like building on that essay. So this is the fully cooked version. If you did want to see it more stepped out in a PLC and more guiding questions and the resources and all the things that we went over today, we've built a campus course or Canvas course that will help kind of give you all the resources, give you guiding questions, all of that. That's in Canvas, and it's designed to be used in PLC or in grade level meetings. So join us there to extend your learning, and we're so happy you joined us. Thank you so much. We'll see you guys soon.